because AOC loves to fuck with me, every time I defend her, she always does some shit that I cannot defend. And that was voting yes on resolution 1449, which was a resolution about anti-Semitism. And I wanted to go look at the bill specifically because the question is, does this bill that condemns the rise of global anti-Semitism, right? Does this bill adopt the language of the International Holocaust Memorial, I believe, Memorial Organization? Does it adopt that language that conflates anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism? And the answer is maybe, unclear. But here's the 1449, which obviously is a problem because once that language is adopted, that effectively collapses any anti-genocide, pro-Palestine protester in with, the likes of the Nick Fuenteses, in with the likes of like the white supremacists. So again, it condemns the global rise of anti-Semitism and calls upon countries and international bodies to counter anti-Semitism, which seems very fine and good and normal on its face, but more specifically, and it's pretty short. Whereas in 2016, the 31 member states of International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance adopted a legally non-binding working definition of anti-Semitism, an important internationally recognized tool to increase understanding of anti-Semitism. So it mentions the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which again is the organization that has collapsed the meaning of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism into this basically the same thing. As it mentioned that the resolution is to condemn anti-Semitism, welcome the global guidelines for countering anti-Semitism unveiled by the United States and partners in Buenos Aires, Argentina, calls upon states and international bodies to take up countering anti-Semitism and embrace the global guidelines for countering anti-Semitism. But the global guidelines for countering anti-Semitism, getting back to whether or not these actually collapse the definition, these are the global guidelines launched in Buenos Aires, Argentina, un país donde yo vivía unos 5 años, donde yo tenía un amor que me decepcionó. No, it was all good. It was like very, anyway. So preamble, blah, 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 blah. There, hang on. So basically, I'm trying to find, understand and define. In order to combat anti-Semitism, governments need to understand its various manifestations. The legally non-binding International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, IHRA, working definition on anti-Semitism, is an important internationally recognized instrument used by 40 UN member. Blah, blah, blah. So there it is. So the resolution says we would like to basically adopt whatever the global guidelines that were unveiled in Buenos Aires said, and those global guidelines do refer to the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism. I give you, this vote was effectively collapsing, or in some ways giving a wink and a nod to conflating anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. You don't like my music, sis? I'm going to begin every post with whereas. Dude, I mean, this whole segment needs to begin with whereas. But let's go. Whereas Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and a number of other Democrats, let's pull them up, voted yes on 1449, including obviously Richie Torres, because of course, Jamal Bowman, because I guess, why not go out with I don't know what. But, a lot of people voted for this. Someone who did not vote for this was Representative Ilhan Omar, and she came out with a statement about why she didn't vote on this. She says, I voted no because the bill endorses a harmful definition of the IHRA that dangerously conflates legitimate criticisms of Israel to anti-Semitism and further harms our ability to address anti-Semitism. I condemn anti-Semitism unequivocally. However, this resolution does nothing to combat anti-Semitism. I will continue to stand against any attempt to silence genuine concerns of the Israeli government as anti-Semitism. because Ilhan Omar is a real one. So I don't know why AOC keeps doing this. I don't know which liberal Zionist organizations have gotten to her to tell her that actually the biggest threat to this world isn't Israel trying to drag everyone into World War III vis-a-vis ethnic cleansing of Gaza while calling everyone anti-Semitic. And instead, it is somehow anti-Semitism, perceived, imagined, and yes, in some cases real, but most of those cases are coming from Nazis who were marching with swastikas on the streets of like Ohio because people put out a blood libel against Haitians. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the anti-Semitism that's actually happening. So I guess, you know, score one for Franny being wrong on AOC this week. And to further prove that the United States is so deeply unserious about actually countering anti-Semitism and how much those who are responsible for overseeing the rise, the global rise of anti-Semitism and making sure that like there is no global rise, that actually is a project that is collapsed into nothing but Hasbara, nothing but pro-genocide and genocidal points of view. Let me go back. Let me give you once again our girl, Deborah Lipstadt, who is the U.S. State Department envoy to combat anti-Semitism. You all remember her, / maybe you didn't see this clip. She is a Biden administration official, and she was speaking at the Israeli-American Council of Pro-Netanyahu Lobbying Front, funded by Trump mega donor Miriam Adelson, who, yes, donated a bunch of money to Donald Trump in order for him to annex the West Bank in the coming Trump years. This woman is responsible for the Biden administration, Democratic administration, overseeing the rise of global rise of anti-Semitism. She's the special envoy. Here she is at a pro-Netanyahu fundraiser. That's bad enough. That's fine. Let her be there. That's fine. Let her be there. That's fine. Here is what she says when asked, did October 7th sort of reveal that like maybe the IDF isn't as like, big and bad and impenetrable as, as we all once thought they were? And here was her very couth, responsible, measured response to that question.
After October 7th, there was a feeling around the world that Israel is weaker. And in the
You want a beeper?
I can give.
Let's play it again in case you didn't catch that.
After October 7th, there was a feeling around the world that Israel is weaker. And in the
You want a beeper?
She said, do you want a beeper? Straight up the exact same thing that dude bro, whatever his name was, Ryan, I don't give a shit, I forgot his name, said to Mehdi Hassan on that CNN panel. I hope your pager doesn't go off. She said, do you want a beeper? So who's zooming who, people? We want to take real anti-Semitism seriously. We all want to do that. And yet, your global envoy on anti-Semitism is saying, do you want a beeper, in response to whether or not, basically like defensively sticking up for Israel. It's just sick, man. It's sick. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.